So you're posting quality content to Instagram, but you are not getting the engagement that you want. What gives? I totally hear you, and I struggled with the same thing in the beginning. Now, in today's video, I am sharing with you my 7 top tips for increasing your Instagram engagement so you can build that trust and those connections with your dream clients so you can turn them into buyers. This is the best place for new coaches and creators who are ready to turn their unique expertise and knowledge into a profitable online course so they can get paid teaching what they love. Now, if that sounds like you, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell to be notified every Friday when a new video goes live. And one quick thing before we get started is I want to drill it into your head that engagement is super important because it allows us to build the know, like, and trust factors with our audience. And you need to have these 3 things established if you want people to buy from you. Now, that is the reason that getting your engagement up can be a game changer for your business, especially on Instagram. Tip number 1 is to post shareable content. So what exactly is shareable content? Now, shareable content is any type of content you post to your feed that gets people to like, to share, to tag their friends, something that has wide appeal and gets people wanting to share it. So that could be something that is funny, something super surprising, or it could simply be a quote that a lot of people can relate to. So how do you find what that is? So shareable content can be found by observing your competitors and seeing what other content does the best. So what gets the highest engagement? What gets shared? And you want to look at what that is and find out why it performs so well. And then you can emulate and create similar content that appeals to your audience so you can post it to your feed. Now, when content is shareable, you get a ton of likes, comments, shares, and all of that. And that engagement drives, again, what we talked about before, the know, like, and trust factor with your audience. You also want to be tracking your own content, looking at your analytics, and seeing what performs the best for you. This will let you know what is resonating with your audience, what is driving engagement, and then you can go ahead and post more content like that. Now, you do want to keep things niche specific. I know there's a lot of things like memes and funny things out there that you could post, but if it is not specific to your audience, if it has a very general appeal, then the people that are going to come and comment and view it are not necessarily your ideal audience members, and they're not likely to buy. For tips on how to create a consistent content plan for Instagram, check out this video where I walk you through my process of coming up with an entire month's worth of Instagram content in a single day. Tip number 2 is to always include a CTA that encourages action. Now, a CTA, or a call to action, can be somewhere in your caption or even in text on your post, or you say it in the video. But you want to choose one thing that you ask your audience to do. That could be to comment, to like, to tag a friend, you could be asking a question when you're asking them to answer, so then you can form a discussion. And that means every single post that you post to your feed and even to your stories should have a CTA that asks for one specific action. Now, Instagram is a social media platform, so if you can get that discussion going, if you can get people answering questions and get that back and forth conversation going, you're going to massively boost your engagement rate. Tip number 3 is to ask lots of questions. Now, this does fall under the CTA method that we talked about in the last point. In that situation where you are asking a question in your caption or in your actual content. But another way to ask questions is to do that in the comments. So anytime somebody leaves a comment on one of your posts, follow up with a question to get them to elaborate. Now, somebody that does a really good job of this is Ramit Sethi. So if you go look at his Instagram or his Twitter, you see he does this a lot, where somebody will respond to his Twitter post or his Instagram and he will follow up with a question. And that way, when you do that, you get multiple responses from the same people, which drives up your comment count. And also, by having those conversations, you are building trust with your audience. Tip number 4 is to respond to every single comment that gets left on your post. Now, this is pretty self-explanatory, but for every time that you comment, you're adding engagement to your posts. And for every comment that you can get somebody else to leave another comment by starting those discussions, then you are increasing your engagement rates. And people like to be noticed, they like to be acknowledged. And again, that builds up that trust, it builds up those relationships with your ideal customers and clients that will later lead to sales. And it also shows up as social proof. So when somebody comes into your comment section and they see that you are responding to everybody, they are much more likely to leave a comment as well because they see that you are having conversations. And remember, engagement shouldn't just be a vanity metric, right? So it doesn't really matter how many likes, how many comments you get. It is more about the quality of comments, the quality of the people that you are engaging with that really matters. Because at the end of the day, you're creating content, you are driving engagement for the purpose of turning those followers into paying customers. So in this regard, when you are targeting and engaging with your dream clients, that is the best use of your time versus trying to go for the mass appeal and get anybody and everybody involved. So I am super curious, what is your reason for wanting to drive engagement on your Instagram account? Tip number 5 is to reach out and engage with your ideal customers and clients. And again, this comes down to being social and building connections with these people on the platform. So the way this works is you would go and find a competitor in your niche who targets a similar audience as you. So go to their followers and find people who you know for sure are likely to be in your ideal audience. So if you are targeting female entrepreneurs, you go to somebody else that targets that audience and scroll through their followers and find people that are clearly using their Instagram as an entrepreneur and that they are women. So once you do that, go through their posts, find something and leave a genuine comment. You can follow them as well. You want to watch their stories, like their things, and treat them as you would a friend. So you're building that relationship, and the more you do back and forth with these people, the better your engagement and the better your relationships and the more sales you will make. The most important part of this process is vetting and making sure that they are in your target audience. Because when you do this with random people, it doesn't really help you build your business because you're not attracting the right people who are likely to turn into customers. Tip number 6 is to mention your new posts in your Instagram stories. Now, this is a quick little hack that you can use in order to drive a little extra engagement to the posts in your feed. So you can simply post a preview of that post, or you can cover it with a sticker or an emoji if you want to keep it a surprise for when they land on your actual post. And last but certainly not least is tip number 7, and that is to understand what your ideal customers want and tailor your content towards them. Now, this is probably one of the most important things that a lot of people miss. So as you're growing your audience, as you're getting to know your ideal customers, you'll get a sense of what kind of content they want to see from you. What do they want to learn? What troubles, what struggles, what pain points can you help them with? And the more you get dialed into what these things are and creating content that addresses that, the better you will be and the more engagement you will get. So keep an eye on your analytics, make a mental note of the posts and the topics that you post about that get more engagement than average. In addition to this, you can also go straight to the source and ask your followers what they want. Instagram stories is a great place to do this because you can add in those little question boxes or polls and see what your audience wants. This is a great way to find exactly what they want, and then you can go ahead and tailor your content towards that. The more you do that, the more your engagement will grow and the more your following will grow because you're niche specific and providing insane value for a specific problem. And an extra little tip, if you don't have an audience or yours is really small, you can actually eavesdrop on the followers of your competitors to find out what you should be posting. Now, you can do this by looking at the posts of your competitors and seeing what their followers are saying. So what are they talking about? What are they struggling with? What do they need help with? and which of your competitors' posts are getting the most engagement. Those are things to really keep an eye out for so you can turn around and create similar content for your feed that will drive engagement as well. But at the end of the day, all of that extra growth and engagement on Instagram doesn't mean squat if you don't have an amazing product or service to sell to that audience. Now, if you'd like to add a profitable online course to your business, but you have no idea where to get started, then I suggest you check out my Profitable Online Course Idea Starter Kit, where I will walk you through the steps to come up with an amazing course idea, find one that people actually want and that is guaranteed to sell. That way you can confidently walk into the course creation process knowing for sure that it's going to sell before you create it. And you will do this through my quick validation process so you can pre-sell your course before you ever spend a minute creating it. And you can grab that at the link in the description below. Also, if you want to join an amazing community of other coaches and creators just like you, I'd love to invite you to join my free exclusive Facebook group, the Course Boss Club. Inside, you'll get access to this amazing, supportive community of like-minded entrepreneurs like yourself, but I will also be in there every weekday dropping knowledge and my best tips and tricks for growing and scaling your online course business. Check out these videos next on how to take your course business to the next level. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like, and share it with a friend who could also benefit.